Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We'll be diving right into our discussion segment. And our focus is an issue that continues to haunt Nigeria's political space: the recurring scandals over fake and questionable certificates among top government officials. Now, the latest controversy involves the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Jeffrey Inaji, whose academic records have come under serious scrutiny. But this is not an isolated case. Nigeria has a long history of certificate scandals shaking public trust in leadership. Now, in 1999, the nation was stunned when then Speaker of the House of Representatives, Salisu Buhari, was forced to resign after it was revealed that he had falsified his age and forged a university certificate. Years later, another high-profile case rocked the system when former Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun resigned over allegations of presenting a fake NYC discharge certificate. These and several other cases reflect a worrying pattern that questions the integrity of our leaders and the weakness of our institutions in verifying credentials. Now, for many Nigerians, the issue is not just about forged documents. It is about what it says of our values as a nation. How can ordinary citizens be expected to work hard for qualifications when those at the top seem to get away with shortcuts? And what damage does this do to public trust, governance, and Nigeria's image before the world? So this morning, we'll be looking deeper into these recurring scandals, their impact on leadership, credibility, and the urgent reforms needed to restore integrity in public office. But before we introduce our guests, let's take a look at this explainer by Abdullahi Ahmed.
It started decades ago when education became the ultimate badge of credibility. A degree, especially one from abroad, opens many doors in Nigeria. And many saw it as something they could fake. In 1999, Nigeria's first Speaker of the House of Representatives, Salisu Buhari, was caught presenting a fake University of Toronto degree and lying about his age. He resigned and was convicted, but later pardoned. Since then, the list has only grown. Kemi Adeosun, former Minister of Finance, had an NYC exemption certificate that was reportedly fake. Andy Uba and Governor Ademola Adeleke were questioned over unverifiable university records. Christian Abba lost his seat for using a forged OND certificate, and Uche Inaji, a current serving minister in the federal government, recently disowned a University of Nigeria of Nsukka certificate after claiming their degree. Well, these are not isolated cases. They are symptoms of something much deeper. Fake degrees aren't just about politics anymore. They run through Nigeria's entire bureaucracy, from local councils to federal ministries. Thousands of civil servants are working with forged WAEC results, diplomas, and university certificates. Investigations by the Federal Civil Service Commission and state governments have repeatedly uncovered ghost workers, impersonators, and officers with fake papers, some in service for decades. The system has normalized fraud because verification is weak or almost non-existent. Recruitment often favors connections over credentials. Certificate mills, especially from abroad, supply whatever qualification fits the job title. And in a country where paper qualification means promotion, the temptation to forge has become routine. Over time, the message became simple. You don't need to study hard to move up. Just find the right paper. Every fake certificate chips away at something bigger. Trust. Trust in schools. Trust in public institutions. Trust in leadership. When unqualified people run the system, competence becomes optional and failure becomes policy. Until there is real punishment and transparency verification at every level, from councillors to ministers, Nigeria will keep rewarding forgery over merit. Because right now, in the corridors of power, the cubicles of public offices, fake degrees are doing the real damage.
All right, that was quite interesting and informative as well. Right now, joining us for this conversation via Zoom from Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, is public affairs analyst Mr. Sunday Amos. Good morning, Mr. Sunday. Thank you for joining us this morning on Daybreak.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Great to see you.
All right. Thank you for joining us. So moving straight ahead to this issue that has been recurring, we've seen that this is not the first nor the second or third that has happened when it comes to an official or political office holder forging a certificate. So at this point, what is going on in Nigeria? How come we cannot be able to vet properly, and what is happening to our morals and values in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I've listened to Abdullah Ahmed's report just now, and it's so difficult to add anything to what he has said. It speaks the whole thing, very comprehensive, the Malay in the system. The whole thing is not just about leadership of our top guys, either minister or members of the legislature or whatever it is. It's a problem that spans from the very top to the very bottom. It's not even just about forgery. Even those certificates that were not forged, what is the integrity of those certificates, even the ones that are not forged? For example, yes, it is my name, I'm the one that wrote it, but through exam malpractice. You know, it was not forged, but because it was gotten through exam malpractice, there's no integrity of that particular certificate. So we're talking about a system that has been bedeviled with both forgery and as well as results that have no integrity. It's a system that has been entirely rigged, and it's just a matter of the 11th commandment, thou shalt not be caught. But if we are to really do a thorough forensic audit of certificates in all our systems, it is very, very mind-boggling. From our university lecturers, those who get admissions, how many actually get admission with their names? You know, one of the things that is very common in our newspapers today is change of name. Why are there so many rampant changes of names? Because many people use other people's certificates to get admission, to get employment, and then later they now do a change of name to correct it back to their real names. And so what we are facing is the result of decades and decades of tolerance of fraud, as Abdullah has said. And it can only go worse from here now that it is everywhere. Even the people who are supposed to do the audit themselves need to be audited. Even the people who are supposed to do the forensic themselves are suspect. And it spans from the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, our academia, the security forces, you know, and so on and so forth. So it's no longer becoming a big deal that somebody has forged certificate, especially even now that the #1 citizen of Nigeria, the president himself, has the sword of Damocles hanging on his head because of these issues of forgery. So whether it is a minister or what do you think, what do you expect the president to do when he himself has issues on his head and so on and so forth? So it's the issue of Nigeria's certificate saga and the scandals that have spanned from ages past, and the lack of laws that will sufficiently punish these illegalities simply portends that the matter will continue to grow worse from here, unfortunately.
All right, Mr. Amos, with this, reoccurring trend, what does this say about our educational system in Nigeria, and also, the level of integrity for our political office holders and even our administrative office holders as well, because this has been reoccurring for so many years. Hello, Mr. Amos, are you there? Right, I think we lost him.
I believe we lost him. Before we get a hang on Mr. Amos, having this conversation is quite vital, understanding the repercussions when it comes to continuous reoccurrence, as well as having that allowance for it to be able to happen, for it to be able to occur, and continuously, it'll automatically change our mindset, automatically change, the younger generation's mindset to see that it is okay and it is something that has been normalized, for it not to be seen as a negative when it comes to conducting your lives and career-wise as well.
Exactly. For the minister that is, entangled in this scandal. Okay, Mr. Amos is back, and thank you for joining us back. So I wanted to find out from you, this trend has been reoccurring, year in, year out, and then we've not seen any, strict measures or disciplinary actions being taken at the end of the day. So what does this say about our educational system in Nigeria, and even, the level of integrity in our politicians and also, people that are holding administrative offices in Nigeria?
Yeah, so the span of the problem is so wide. You've talked of the academia, you've talked about politics, you've talked about all of these things. Where do you lay a grasp on the handle to begin? It is the situation, the problem is so overwhelmingly widespread that I'm almost at a loss as to where to begin if we are to really address this particular problem. Is it from the home? Because parents have become complicit in this whole thing. It is parents who are in the forefront of by hook or crook, getting certificates for their children, either through forged exam malpractice or through buying question papers and so on and so forth. So I'm seeing that. And again, it's not even about the laws. We do have the laws, but the people who are to enforce the laws, we have cried over and over about our judicial system in this country. So when you look at it, where do we start? I'm sorry, you are the ones who are supposed to be asking the questions, but the matter to me is so serious that I also need to join you in asking the questions. Where do we start? Where are we supposed to really lay a hold about this problem that has become so widespread? Is it the politicians? Is it the parents? Is it the teachers? Let me give you a very good example. I've been in the academia for over 2 decades. As I'm talking to you now, in many universities, students write exams, students mark their scripts themselves because lecturers are not able to mark scripts any longer. A lecturer conducts exams and he gives it to students to mark these exams. What do you think will happen? The students will now tell his colleagues, oh, guys, I'm the one in charge of this particular course. If you want A, if you want B, come and see me. So I think we need an overhaul, ladies. We need an overhaul in our system. We have a systemic problem. And we need the right people who are in government who really worry about these matters to be able to come up with laws that will check this system. Unfortunately, our electoral system has also been compromised. Our judicial system has also been compromised. Our academics, our home front, the churches, the mosques, everywhere has been infected by this particular bug of fraud. So we are really in a deep shit, permit my language, but I'm sure it's not hope lost. We can trace where this whole thing began, and we can come up with steps to be able to address it.
All right, Mr. Amos, as someone that has been in the education sector for quite a while, in your own opinion, I would say in a perfect Nigeria, what legal reforms do you think would help close the gaps that allow these issues to persist?
Come again, there was a fluctuation, sorry.
All right, Ms. Amos, I was saying that as someone that has spent a long time in the education sector, in a perfect Nigeria, I would say, what legal reforms do you think would help close the gaps that allow these issues to persist?
I think that we need an independent judiciary. As it is presently, we do not have an independent judiciary in the real sense of the word independent. From the way judges are appointed to their financing and their funding and so on and so forth, unless and until we have anti-corruption bodies that are truly independent, they will always defer to the people that appointed them. Whoever pays the piper will continue to dictate the tune. I know why politicians are afraid of an independent judiciary, and so they will not want. It's just like this local government autonomy thing. As long as our local governments are not autonomous financially and administratively, we'll continue to have problems. So, in the first step we need to do, just like our electoral system too, is to have a truly independent judiciary. Look at what is happening in other developed climes, ladies, where the president will require a judge to do something like in America, and a judge will say, I will not do it. Because the judge knows that their appointment and their sacking is not in the hands of the president. We need that kind of system here in Nigeria. And until and unless we do that, we will still be rigmaroling around the same problem.
Okay, Mr. Amos, when issues or when scandals like this, get to stare their faces at us, some will argue that, it has to do with, a political opposition and what have you. So really, how much of this is a genuine concern over a political weaponization?
You see, we need to, my sister, we need to get to a point when we stop being politically correct over these matters. We have Nigerians who are uncorrupted and incorruptible. I don't know if the English is correct, but we have people who genuinely care about this particular country. Such people can be appointed to head truly independent bodies who can address these issues. And if we are serious about addressing this matter, I mean, look at countries like China. Look at countries like China. You don't do these things and survive. Recently, I was reading that was it Kiyawa or somebody, former governor of which state, because he stole trillions, the judge sentenced him to death by hanging. My first reaction was to say, that is fantastic. They should go and hang the guy for stealing this amount of money. We need to get to a point when the death penalty should be able to be pronounced on people who do fraud. Drastic measures have to begin to be taken. We have been playing with issues, and that is why the things have continued to grow from bad to worse. So let us identify incorruptible and uncorruptible Nigerians. Let us establish truly independent organizations and systems. Let us put these Nigerians there. Let them give them the requisite political support. Let them deliver. I know it is a dangerous thing to do, but we have to start somewhere. As it is now, we are playing ball. We are just joking with the whole thing about corruption. We are not fighting corruption in Nigeria presently. We are not. The ICPC, the EFCC, the Code of Conduct Bureau, the Judiciary, the National Assembly, the whole thing is a whole bastion of corruption. And unless and unfortunately, the head at the very top you can't give what you don't have, unfortunately.
All right, Mr. Amos, you know, a lot of people would ask if these certificate scandals do genuinely affect, you know, political outcomes in Nigeria. But the biggest question would be, due to its reoccurrence, how do these political parties vet their candidates, and why do these scandals often surface only after elections? Mr. Amos, are you there? All right, I believe we lost.
Sorry, there was a fluctuation again. Sorry, come again.
All right. So I said the question is, a lot of people would ask, do these certificate scandal really, affect political outcome in Nigeria? But come to think of it, due to its reoccurrence, how do these political parties vet their candidates, and why do these scandals often, resurface right after elections?
Yeah, well, as far as the political parties are concerned, the kind of thing we're having in Nigeria is that they don't bloody care how or whatever happens as long as they win elections. And they don't care whether you're a crook. As long as you win election and you supply funding to the political party, they don't give a damn. And yes, these scandals affect the outcome of our political, they rig the system. It's a rigging of the system. Our laws stipulate minimum requirements for contesting elections. Of what use are these laws if they cannot be enforced? Of what use are these laws if people can circumvent them and get away with them? In more serious crimes, the moment a fraud is discovered, that person ought to lose his seat, just as happened to Buhari and all the other people in the past. The former speaker of the National Assembly. Unless there is punishment for breaking the law, more people will be encouraged to do so. They negatively affect outcomes. They will continue to negatively affect outcomes and continue to deteriorate the system and continue to destroy the nation. And if I am a petty thief and I see that petty theft doesn't attract any serious punishment, I will continue to steal. We have had occasion to describe here that corruption is not a crime of passion. On this platform, we explained that corruption is a crime of economic calculation. I sit down, I calculate that if I do this corrupt act, the benefits are high, the risk of being caught is low, and the punishment after being caught is trivial. I will engage in it. But if I sit down and I calculate that the benefit from this corruption is low, the risk of being caught is high, and the punishment is severe, I will not engage in it. So what we have, and why more of these scandals are being unearthed, is because more and more people sit down and calculate and say, from what I am seeing, the benefit from corruption is high. The risk of being caught is low. And even when I am caught, the punishment is very lenient. So more and more people will engage in it. So the solution is simple. Let us have a system. We have said it over and over again, that the antidote is to establish a truly independent system that ensures that the risk of corruption, the benefit from corruption, is very low. The risk of being caught is very high, and the punishment very severe. Whoever sits down and looks at the indicators, that if I want to engage in fraud or certificate forgery, that the punishment is severe and the risk of being caught is high, the person will not engage in it. But presently, that is not what we have. It's very lucrative now to engage in corruption. Even when EFCC invites you, you go as a hero and come back like a hero, like Yaya Bello did, and so on and so forth. So people will continue to hail you, and people can only be more and more encouraged to also engage in it, unfortunately.
So, Mr. Amos, do you think the public's outrage over these scandals is enough to drive real change, or are Nigerians becoming desensitized to such controversies?
Come again, sorry?
Okay, so I wanted to hear from you. Do you think the public's outrage over these scandals is enough to drive real change, or are Nigerians becoming desensitized to such controversies?
Okay, so here is what is happening. We have weaponized poverty. Politicians have weaponized poverty. Politicians have succeeded in changing the mindset of Nigerians to think only about survival. What to eat, what to drink, where to sleep, how to pay my school fees, how to pay rent. This is the only thing that Nigerians think about now. And whoever will provide for them the resources to survive, Nigerians no longer bother about whatever they do to provide those resources. And that is why the loss, I've said it again and again, that the loss of public support in the fight against corruption is the greatest loss in the fight against corruption. And the politicians realize this. And that is why the antidote to change this around will be the empowerment of ordinary Nigerians. By the time I am in charge of my destiny, nobody controls what I eat. Nobody controls what I drink. Nobody controls the house I build or where I send my children to school. I can now question the source of your wealth. And that is why government must focus. Government at all levels must focus on economic empowerment of the ordinary Nigerian.
All right, Mr.
But that is not what is happening.
All right.
So it seems we have been desensitized, unfortunately, but the reason we have been desensitized is simply because we have been subjected to so much poverty that we no longer worry about who gives us money.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sunday Amos, for, unpacking a lot for us right at this moment.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. All right. With that, we've come to the end of this segment. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be going right into our newspaper review, and we'll be looking at the front page of our national dailies. So stay tuned. Don't go away.